Okay. Hey everyone. It's me, your TV pal, or whatever the fuck nickname. I feel like ripping off from David Letterman at the moment. So anyway, hey, it's me doing another one of my video things. I know, it's crazy. I didn't do them for like a month and a half, and now here I am already. It is February 15th. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, one of my favorite days of the year. You know, it's funny actually. I actually, for a couple minutes I went online, and around a little bit around midnight or so on Monday, and it convinced me it was a smart idea to stay off, because Valentine's Day, when you go online, pretty much translates to people in relationships talking about how great it is to be in a relationship and wondering why no one else can understand how great this day is. And single people are all, going on about how this day sucks, and, it's a shitty, reminder of being single. And, the thing is, as someone who's been single, I realized it's actually going to be 4 years. Coming in, like June, I think it'll be, no, 3 years. It'll be 3 years, but yeah, whatever. It's still been a bunch of years I've been single, and, there was a time where I used to be bothered by Valentine's Day too, and I think it's when you're not happy being single and you don't realize that you don't need someone else in your life to actually make it complete, that's when, days like yesterday really bother you. Because it's a reminder that, that you don't have everything you want in your life. Now me, since I've become single, I've kind of realized how productive I've become, I don't spend all my time focusing on someone else anymore. And I don't spend all my time, trying to make someone else happy. The only person who I care about making happy right now is myself. And it's actually has been really, really good. I don't think I would have gotten as much done, with Nemesis and with the book and with the other book, that I'm working on, and the scripts I've been writing and everything. I don't think I would get anywhere near any of that done. Plus, I would get yelled at whenever I would start growing a beard. Not that my facial hair looks great exactly, but, the whole point is that, I would, anytime, when I wanted to just take some pictures for headshots or whatever, with the beard to show I could do different looks. I remember being told that was a bad thing to do. So, I think if more single people realize that being single is freedom and not a lacking of something in your life. I mean, hey, everybody likes being loved. It's a good feeling, but it's not the only thing. I stayed offline because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear people going on about how great their relationships are, and I don't want to hear people talking about how much it sucks. So I just basically avoided it altogether. I spent today looking over the interior proofs for the book, making sure all the pictures were in the right place, because we have I think 70-something photos, full color photos in the Houston autobiography, and they have to all be in the correct placement in the right places and have the right captions under them and all this sort of stuff. And that's what I was doing today. I did that. I beat Final Fantasy 13-2, which there are people out there talking about how they don't understand the story and they don't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was actually, I'm not sure if I can say it was better than, I know a lot of people hated 13, but I loved 13. If anything, I feel like it kind of enhanced the story. If it kind of, made it a bigger universe, and I was happy with that. I also started playing, my guitarist Klebold got me Batman Arkham City for a late Christmas gift, so I started playing that now. you know, I did that. I did some writing. I listened to a song that my keyboardist had written. I did, you know, I did productive things. I feel in a day like today, if you're single, well, yesterday, in a day like yesterday, if you're single and, you know, instead of hearing people in relationships go on about how great it is, or instead of going online and being, oh, you people all suck, you know, because I'm single and you're not, do something productive next year, you know? Do something for yourself. Do something for, you know, that helps get you where you need to be. Because you know what? You don't need someone else in your life. It's nice to have. It's a great feeling to be in love. It's a great feeling to have, you know, another half or whatever, but you don't need it. You know, you don't. And I know that that's, you know, kind of anathema to a lot of people because we're kind of, you know, I mean, we have the biological urge to keep reproducing and all this sort of stuff, and we, you know, and that's what love really is. It's a biological imperative telling you to, you know, to keep getting out there and spreading your seed and, or, you know, bearing young. But in reality, that's all it is. It's just instinct, you know. As Al Pacino said, you know, the feeling is not dissimilar from eating large amounts of chocolate, which I like doing, quite honestly. I really like that. In fact, I'm not eating right now. It's kind of odd that I'm not, you know, eating anything. But anyway, so yeah, basically, I was actually going to make myself tea, and then I realized I'm out of tea bags. I said tea bag. You know, and so I couldn't make tea, and so I was like, hey, I'll do a video and just, you know, talk about doing things for yourself, you know. You know, so basically, I always, you know, when I do have stuff in my Winamp, I probably should remove like the little spoken word parts because, you know, they don't really help any. But yeah, so, that's pretty much what's going on, you know. I just was like, you know, let me do another one of these, and kind of, I don't know, I don't ever really say anything, like, positive, and so this is, you know, my attempt at being all like, hey, you know, you don't have to be miserable today just because you're single, you know. It's fucking, you know, I mean, really, it's, and that's the thing, even if you're in a relationship, you know, I've only been in a relationship for, I think, 2 Valentine's days my entire life. And, you know, I mean, I bought stuff for, you know, my girlfriends at the time, but it's still kind of like, you know, like if you love someone, you love them every day of the year. You don't need a special day to go and tell you, you know, to go and love them more so than you normally do. You know, I mean, it's really to sell cards and chocolate and flowers and everything. It's, for those industries, it's a huge boon, you know? And, you know, hey, I actually buy myself Valentine's Day candies a lot because I love junk food. I think anyone who's seen this has seen how much I enjoy, like, you know, candy and chocolate and cookies and cake and all these things that make me, you know, the big, huge, obese Midwesterner that you see me as now. Which, by the way, I wanted to actually kind of point out the other day that Rick Santorum won 3 states in, you know, on the Republican primaries the other day. And it's kind of funny because, you know, modern conservatives often bring up the name of Ronald Reagan. And the thing that they keep forgetting is that Ronald Reagan looked at the religious right as being a bunch of nut jobs that he just had to pay lip service to in order to, you know, to get votes. He knew the Democrats weren't going to try to appeal to them, so he figured, you know, he can tell them some shit and they'd believe it and they'd vote for him. And it's just funny thinking of how often Rick Santorum will bring up, you know, Ronald Reagan or whatever, and Ronald Reagan would have thought that Rick Santorum was a nut job. And I always just found that really funny. It's, in fact, when honestly, Rick Santorum is a fucking nut job. And, you know, I think, if just look it up. Go to Google after you're done watching this, and, you know, look up Rick Santorum, 1996, dead child. Okay? Because Rick Santorum, and this is a little known, for some reason it's little known. I don't know why this is not in every single story about Rick Santorum as to go and show that the man is mentally ill. But, you know, he took, his wife had a stillborn birth, right? And so Rick Santorum, you know, and I understand that's probably horribly painful and everything. You know, I've dealt with stuff, that, you know, but he took the corpse home with him, and he cuddled with it in bed, and he took pictures with it, and he had his children come in the bed, and he had them, you know, because he wanted to show them that a fetus was a person too. His anti-abortion views are that absolutely insane that he, you know, would bring a fucking corpse home. Okay, now I'm sorry, that is not the behavior of a sane person. And, you know, you can say, oh, he was in grief or whatever. You know what? When my grandmother died, my grandmother raised me from the time I was 2 years old because my parents were busy having orgies and doing cocaine, and then getting married and divorced about 13 times. And, you know, when my grandmother died, that was horribly painful to me. That was like losing my mom and my dad at the same time. But at no point when she died did I think, let's take her home and take some pictures. In fact, you know what? No one, in as mentally ill as many of the members of my family are, none of us thought of doing that. Okay? That's the sign of someone who is, that's like, you do that sort of shit when you have a psychotic break. You know, like villains in thrillers do that sort of thing. You know? And I find it funny that not only does no one bring that up with Rick Santorum, but when you do bring it up for Rick Santorum, you get accused of trying to exploit his personal tragedy for political gains. Which, you know, as I said the other week, it's so, in other words, if by some, you know, weird thing, O.J. Simpson ever runs for president, we can't bring up the fact that he's possibly a murderer. You know, because, oh, well, gee, it certainly hurt for him to lose his wife. You know, even though he was the one who fucking murdered her. So, you know, I think to me it's kind of funny that, you know, someone can get away because he's a religious person and he's the right religion. You know, keep that in mind. He's the right religion, you know. It's funny. If he had done the exact same thing, you know, and had been a pagan, everyone would be talking about, you know, what a godless fucking monster he is for doing that. But, you know, he gets special treatment because, you know, and by the way, he really is a fucking religious lunatic. I mean, you know, the man has spoken about making condoms and birth control pills and IUDs and any other form of birth control illegal, because it goes against what sex is supposed to be for, because Rick Santorum, who wants the government out of big business, out of your lives, except when it's time to regulate what goes on in your bedroom, in which case Rick Santorum will gladly have your... Rick Santorum was totally against the sodomy laws being, you know, overturned, and not just for gay people. Rick Santorum, if you are a straight couple, and you have non-missionary position sex, or you have anal, or you have oral sex, Rick Santorum would have no problem having you arrested. Keep that in mind when you realize that now the president has the power to indefinitely, you know, detain you. And the power to indefinitely detain American citizens at any time for any reason, without ever charging you with a crime. What do you think a President Santorum would do? If if Rick Santorum is the type of man who not only just blamed abortion for breast cancer, who had once said, in fact, like a couple months ago, he said that the reason why Social Security is failing in this country is because 1 out of 3 Americans is not in America because they've been aborted. He really said that. So, you know, and the man brought a corpse home. Okay? So just imagine what a Santorum presidency would actually mean. Okay? That should probably, you know, I really would not be surprised to see, you know, the Division of Heretics added to the Department of Homeland Security. Oh god, is this the fucking 15-minute version of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida? Oh jeez. So, I guess the drum solo's coming up pretty soon. So, anyway. Yeah, this is a long version. Alrighty. Anyway, I've ranted enough, and I guess I will see you later. Bye. Oh, it's the short version.